Hi, it's Paul and welcome back to YNR Update. Lots to cover, so I'm going to jump right into it. We start out with Abby, and she tells Stitch that Kourtney and Noah are getting married. Now, Stitch thinks this is great and that Abby should attend. Now, Abby thinks that she shouldn't because she wants to tag along to Abu Dhabi when Stitch goes to get Kelly's ashes. Stitch ends up coming up with a compromise, and that is they go to the wedding and then they go to Abu Dhabi, so they agree on that. We then see Kourtney gushing over her upcoming marriage to Noah as she talks to Summer. And then Kourtney tells Kyle and Summer, because Kyle shows up, that she forgot something at the precinct and so she's got to go get it, so they should go on without her. So they take off. And then we see Dylan and Avery, and they get into a bit of a scrap because Avery keeps going on about Joe. Now, Dylan's more than tired of hearing about Joe, and he tells Avery to just knock it off, and he doesn't want to hear about him anymore. So at that point, Sharon shows up, and it's obviously bad timing because Avery flies out of there. She doesn't want any part of this. And Sharon tells Dylan that she remembers seeing a car that night. Now Dylan's, he's getting a little ticked off because he wants to know why Sharon keeps remembering things that she didn't remember before, and it looks pretty convenient. But she does get into it, and she says that she remembers the car and that she believes it's the killer's car, and that the killer saw her clearly and knows that she saw his car, so she's going to be framed. Now she knows this. Now Dylan wants to know how she thinks she's going to be framed by the real killer, but Sharon is insisting that this is something that's going to happen. We also see Noah talking to his dad, and he asks him a question that's sort of a little fortuitous. He says, based on Nick's wedding to Avery that didn't happen at the park, is the park cursed? I guess we're going to find out. Then we see Lily and Joe, and Joe has a way of talking where he gets handsy, and he's always touching with Lily. So he comes up to her, says he wants a favor, and she definitely doesn't want any part of it. And she tells him off and says that, she's married, and even though it looked like she had problems in her marriage, they're working on it, and in fact they're fine, so back off. Later, Joe gets to tell her what he was talking about when Avery comes by, and he says that he actually wants to throw a gala at the hotel for the Better Days Foundation. So they meet, and Lily feels a bit foolish. In fact, she apologizes to Joe later. What they come up with is that yes, they're going to throw a gala, and they're going to honor someone there, and they come up with Avery. So they're going to give an award in Avery's name, and they're going to honor Avery for all her charitable work. So it looks like they've resolved things. Okay, then we take a look at Devon and Lily, and they're talking to Neil and Leslie, and they want Neil to stop punishing himself because it looks like the trial is going to get pretty brutal. But Neil doesn't want any of Devon's help, and he actually tells Lily and Devon to leave and says that's the only way he'll deal with Leslie. Later, Leslie asks him if he was having problems with his vision on the night of the accident, and Neil tells her in no uncertain terms that he's not going to use his blindness. And then Neil tells her in no uncertain terms he's not going to use his blindness as a defense for the upcoming trial. After we see Hillary, and we see her again trying to make nice with the new ADA, Winston. Now, he doesn't know who she is, and again, I don't know why this trick is going to work a second time, but she bumps into him as he's getting coffee at Crimson Light, the exact same setup, and they laugh about what a coincidence it is. Now, she tells him her name is Ann Turner, and at that point, Devon shows up, and he sees right through this. He thinks that, she's got somebody else on the hook. And after ADA Winston leaves, Devon says he knows what she's up to, and maybe he should go warn the guy. Now, Hillary is insistent that he doesn't. Now, eventually he figures, you're not worth it, and he leaves. Later, Hillary gets a call from ADA Winston, and he asks her out for a date, and she agrees to go out with him tomorrow on a dinner date. Then we go back to the wedding, and we see Summer and Abby. Now, Mariah's sitting around hoping that they're going to be fireworks, but there aren't. Summer and Abby actually play nice, and there is no sparks. Then we see Kourtney at the police station. Now, she does get her marriage license, which she did leave at work, but as soon as the cop that gives it to her leaves the room, she jumps on a computer and starts trying to hack into the surveillance system. Now, we see that she sees something that gets her attention. That's all we see. Later, Noah gets a text from her telling him that she wants to meet at the cabin. And I'm going to tell you my thoughts on that. I don't think that Kourtney's going to make it out of this one. I think she's going to become a casualty. I think the killer's got his sights set on her, and her looking at the surveillance is going to tip the killer off. It makes you think somebody with law enforcement access might be the person we're looking for, but I think that Kourtney is actually going to get killed. But getting back to Noah, he tells everybody that it's police business and that they can do it another day. He tells his dad and everyone else to go, but after Nick leaves, he gets the rest of the kids there and he tells them that he did get a text from her saying, meet me at the cabin, and it looks like they're all headed off to the cabin. And I think I know what they're going to find. Then we see Devon and Neil, and Devon tells Neil that he should let him take the stand actually and talk about the affair, and that way people will know the state of mind he was in when the accident happened. Now Neil, same thing, he doesn't want anything to do with Devon, and he lets him know in no uncertain terms that he won't accept any help from him and doesn't want him involved in the trial. After that we see Avery, and she grills Dylan because she knows he spent the night 2 nights ago at Sharon's place, and she grills him about it, and she's upset. Now Dylan's, she wants to know why he's doing this, and Dylan tells her he can't tell her. Now eventually it doesn't take a genius to figure out, and you can tell Avery figures out that Sharon is going to have a legal problem, and that's where we leave things off. So same thing, it looks like things are really heating up. There's a lot coming. You can tell it's going to blow up. But at any rate, I want to thank you for checking us out at YNR Update. It's Paul. Please keep doing what you're doing. Spread the word, share, subscribe. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.